Hey, thank you for tuning in to Instrumental Intel. I am your host, music producer Chick with Beats, and I'm glad that you're here with me. I got another episode that's got music industry news, instrumentals by me for your inspiration, and later my special guest Ashton Stevens will be joining me. We're going to talk a little bit about building a connected community in music and more, so it's going to be a great time. And before I go ahead and drop this first beat, as always, I'd love to give a shout out to my home station, Grander Radio out of Grand Rapids, Michigan, and with that, let's go. Alright, I'm back with the Music Biz Brief. First up, Meta is reportedly prototyping a music feature for Threads. This will allow users to add songs to posts, similar to Instagram and Facebook. It was spotted by a reverse engineer, but the feature is still in development and not publicly tested. If launched, it could enhance post personalization, though it might not appeal to everyone. Threads is also exploring profile updates like display names and cover images to compete with platforms like X and Blue Sky. Next, Blackstone Incorporated is exploring the sale of CSAC and related song rights, including catalogs tied to artists like Bob Dylan and Adele, with a potential valuation exceeding $3 billion. CSAC, known for licensing music for public performances, is one of the few performance rights organizations not bound by federal consent decrees, making it more profitable and faster growing than industry giants like ASCAP and BMI. This move highlights the continued financial interest in music rights as valuations soar amidst the rise of streaming and global recorded music revenues doubling over the past decade. Also, a new app, Smart Music Manager, has launched to help European artists expand their reach in Latin America's top streaming markets like Mexico and Brazil. Developed by Spanish agency Melboss with EU support, the app provides analytics, social media tools, and AI-driven release plans. Described as a fitness app for musicians, it offers tailored daily exercises to help artists grow their digital presence, especially those from smaller markets. The app debuted at the ESNS conference in the Netherlands. Next, Yamaha has launched the $50 million Yamaha Music Innovations Fund to support startups in music tech and audio, aiming to boost innovation in music creation, streaming, and fan engagement. The fund seeks startups with unique strengths, including AI tools, educational projects, and artist monetization solutions. Set to fully launch in April 2025, Yamaha's initiative aligns with its mission to enhance global well-being through sound and music. Also, Deezer is expanding its artist-centric royalties system to include publishing rights, partnering with French collecting society SACEM. Initially launched in 2023 for recordings, the updated model, currently exclusive to France, introduces measures like royalty boosts for tracks meeting monthly stream thresholds and excluding noise tracks from payouts. This development follows a 15-month exploration of the model's complexities since the partnership's announcement in late 2023. In other news, global audio streams hit 4.8 trillion in 2024, up 14% year over year, with emerging markets like Asia driving the growth. New music accounted for over 80% of streams, but catalog consumption, which are songs older than 18 months, outpaced newer releases in growth as listeners revisited older favorites. Meanwhile, pop music was the fastest growing genre in the US, fueled by female artists like Taylor Swift, who was 2024's most streamed songwriter. Superfans now make up 20% of US music listeners, spending 66% more on live events. Interestingly, daily song uploads to streaming platforms fell 4.4%, hinting at efforts to reduce low-quality tracks. Also, streaming fraud has become a persistent challenge in the music industry, but Apple Music is stepping up. Speaking at Music Ally Connect, its global head of music partnerships and business programs revealed that less than 0.3% of Apple Music streams are manipulated. Their methods include real-time fraud detection, detailed reporting, and financial penalties for distributors allowing manipulation. These efforts have already reduced manipulated streams by 50% in just 1 year, setting an example for fair royalties and accurate charts. Next, Spotify CEO Daniel Ek sold another $29.3 million in Spotify shares this week, adding to a series of transactions totaling $597.3 million since mid-2023. Ek has strategically cashed out shares as Spotify's stock hit historic highs, with its market value exceeding $100 billion. Co-founder Martin Lawrenson also sold 556.8 million shares in 2024, but he paused sales in December. Spotify continues to expand into podcasts, audiobooks, and videos, with fourth quarter 2024 financial results expected on February 4th. And I'll definitely be sure to keep you posted with that. Alright, and finally, a U.S. federal court handed Universal Music Group a partial victory in a lawsuit filed by Limp Bizkit and Fred Durst, dismissing copyright claims and efforts to void contracts. The judge ruled that delayed royalty payments didn't justify nullifying the agreements, as Universal has made significant investments in the band. However, allegations of fraud and breach of contract could still move forward in a state court. The lawsuit also accuses Universal of withholding royalties from artists through flawed systems, with a February 3rd deadline to amend the complaint for federal jurisdiction. Alright, and that's a wrap for the Music Biz Brief. Stick around, I'm going to take a quick pause for the cause, and then I'll be back with my special guest, Ashton Stevens, right after this. Keep it locked. I'm a chick with beats, multi-genre music producer, and strategist to indie artists and labels. Visit achickwithbeats.com for resources for artists and instrumentals in various genres available for songs, blogs, podcasts, themes, TV, film, commercials, and more. Once again, that's achickwithbeats.com. That's achickwithbeatz.com. Let's make something happen. Hey, thank you so much for tuning in to Instrumental Intel. I am your host, music producer, Chick with Beats, and I'm excited to say that I have kind of back with me in the virtual building. It's been a while, but Ashton Stevens, who was on a previous radio show, Music Marvels. So since it's your first time on Instrumental Intel, can you talk a little bit about who Ashton Martin / Ashton Stevens is, and how you got started with music and all that good stuff?
For sure. So, of course, for us, it's kind of like a family meeting up again. But yes, for those that may not know who I am, I'm from Marietta, Florida, which is a small town outside of, like, you could say Tallahassee, Panama City-ish, kind of like the Panhandle line. I was kind of raised around music, so when I got into music, it was not really a surprise to anyone that's outside of my family. My grandmother was a opera singer. Honestly, I didn't know that for a while until I was adult, but she was actually an opera singer at one point in time. Became and got into the choir at the church. Started moving heavily. They started their own choir sector, kind of like the all-star choir, and my dad did the same, following her footsteps, except for he actually became a songwriter. He was a drummer. My granddad played the guitar, but even on my mom's side, she always kept a lot of music around. She loved music, R&B, soul, and as far as like hip-hop, a lot of my older cousins is kind of where I got introduced into hip-hop specifically. My dad was into hip-hop too, but he was in a lot of different genres, but hip hop specifically, I fell in love when I seen people freestyle and battle rap. That's when I was like, ooh, I like this. And I came up in I'm in a weird position in my family on my daddy's side. So kind of like to give context, out of my grandmother's family, she had about 8 to 9 siblings. She had a lot of siblings. Wow. And everybody, all of her siblings, by the time I was born, had passed. I think she only had one that's left, and he even passed when I was like, before I hit a teenager fully. So all of my cousins and the people that was around, most people that related to me where I'm from, my grandma is their auntie. Like literally, like my grandma is their great auntie. Well, she's passed in 2020, but she was their great auntie. So I'm like in a weird position in my family because I got a lot of cousins that were like way older than me, and I came in at like a gap. So it was like by the time I was born, I didn't really have anyone my age. Everyone was kind of older than me, until after me, of course. And then a lot of cousins were born, but up until that point, I kind of grew up. I didn't have any older siblings that I knew of at the time, but so I kind of grew up like, I guess, wanting to impress my older cousins or the older people that were around me. And music was the first thing that was like, got their attention. That was like, oh, wow, this legit is actually good at that. Hear this little dude rap. Listen to this little dude rap. It was kind of like, that's kind of how it started. And then it was like, oh, that's pretty cool. And then it moved into being able to like actually put my life into it. And as I got older, I noticed the need, I guess my purpose kind of was shown. And it was more so of like, okay, I see exactly where I'm supposed to be. I know that I have a thing about motivating people. I have a thing about influencing people. In the beginning, I noticed it in negative ways because I'm like, oh, snap, like I'm actually influenced in people. I'm noticing this like early on, like I'm just playing songs with people and I'm hearing, like, mind you, I said I had a lot of cousins and a lot of siblings come after me. So I'm noticing them like quoting my lyrics and I'm like, that may not be the best thing that like it was true to me because at the time period, that's it was just my life. That's kind of how
Right.
music always been. It was just my life. But it was kind of like, okay, something has to change. So instead of changing the music, I changed my life because I would never like. I always was like, I cannot not be true to this. So let me make some changes in my life first, and then let me put this into the music, and then from there we just been grinding. Like it started with just that thought, just the love for it, and
Yeah.
then it turned into a brand, and then it's beginning to expound into even more than I could ever imagine that it'd turn into. So it's kind of how I got started and where I'm from, like my background.
Okay. Wow. What a story. And, a lot of people say, okay, yeah, I came from a musical family, but man, that lineage you mentioned was just
Yes.
humongous and tremendous.
It is, and so what's crazy is most of my cousins around me rap too as well. So people
Wow.
ask like it's crazy when people be like, "Oh, who's your influential rappers?" And it's like honestly, I do have main big stream influences, but honestly, it would be the people that was around me. That's really like if you was to ask me who really influenced me, it was like my older cousins or like my homeboys' older brothers. Like those were the people that really influenced me to rap. Like it was like real time.
That's what's up. So that's cool to be young, but still have like an old soul just because of how you came up and who you came up around.
Sure, for
Yeah,
sure.
it kind of explains like the difference in your music
Yeah,
compared to what you hear mostly on mainstream and
yeah, for
whatnot.
sure.
Yeah. And yeah, that's not a knock to mainstream. It all has its place and purpose. But yeah, if you could maybe talk a little bit about the transition into the new name.
Transition, yeah, for sure. So everybody know, but well, in the beginning, if you've met me anywhere between 20, probably about 2014, 2015, to 20 last year. Yeah, I went by Ashton Martin. Um, and that name, I'll start with the background of that name itself. That name, Ashton, is my real name. That's my first name. Martin was actually given to me by a producer. Shout out to JE in Pensacola. He came up with it originally just to have a play off of the car.
Hmm.
And it was really just with him, but I hated it. I was like, man, I'm not just gonna be playing off a car. Like, no offense either, but I always thought in my head, I'm like, I can't play off another um white man's name either. You know what I'm saying? Just
Mm,
being real with you, I can't do that. So we gotta have something else that's deeper behind it. And I was asleep one day and I kept trying to think in the acronym for Martin. And as I like it was like mid in between 3 a.m., 4 a.m. I just woke up out my sleep. And my wife at the time was there. And I said, I got it. I got it. And she was like, what is wrong with you? I'm like, I got it. I got the name. I'm like, it's motivating all relevant to inspire nations. Now I have no idea. Well, I know where it came from. It was God that gave it to me. But at the time, I had no idea where that came from. I just woke up in the middle of the night and said it and went right back to sleep. So I can imagine she was looking crazy. She was like,
right.
okay, all right. But that's where Ashton Martin came from. As I kind of got more into it, I realized that Martin actually is a purpose. It was never meant to be my name. It was meant to kind of showcase what I'm called to do. What's my purpose here
Mm,
through the music. And in short, what it really means is I motivate people who motivate people, or I
mm,
inspire leaders. That's like my goal. That's the purpose behind it. And
yeah.
so last year I had came to that revelation, and I've been wanting to kind of change my name over the couple years, just because I'm sure you can imagine a lot of issues with SEO. I had issues
Mm,
between Apple Music and Spotify because on Apple Music I show us one thing, Spotify I show us one thing. So I kind of changed it to It's Ashton Martin at one point in time to kind of like help myself with SEO, but it didn't really help. It still
yeah.
was the same issues and search issues. So I've been kind of wanting to change my name from there, but I really, really got a clear revelation last year of just your name is your name. You know what I'm saying? And then actually also another thing is having a child made me really want to put my last name in
Mm,
my actual name, because this is gonna be the same name that he's gonna carry. So I'm like, I really want something that it's gonna go directly to his name. And when he look
Mm,
at this name, he can say like, oh yeah, that's me. That's you know what I'm saying? That's my family.
yeah.
And so it was also just wanting to really just be myself from that point. I these past couple years I went through a lot of transitions, and I've hit the point of like it's beyond just being an artist, a businessman, or a musician. It's just like I really genuinely just want to be myself at this point in my life, and that's really what it represents, just Ashton Stevens. Now Martin, that's why I say people still say Martin, and the brand is still AME because that is still the purpose.
Mm,
It's just that I'm not my purpose. My purpose is actually way bigger than me, but
wow.
I am a representation of it. So that's kind of like the meaning behind the name change.
That's deep. Sincerely. And yeah, shout out to your little mini you. But yeah, so personally, I've actually been through a name change before, and that's always kind of a struggle to get people to switch over. But yeah, especially when you put it like that, I think that'll definitely stick. And even though it might take some people a while, I definitely see your purpose behind it, and I think that's a really honorable thing.
Yeah, for sure, for sure. I think it's gonna be some people that's gonna always call me Martin. Literally, I have siblings that call me that. So it's like I'm not I'm not expecting that to really change. And that's why I'm like I don't really trip about people still using Martin. I just wanna like when it comes to public display, like stage name, actually like what I'm saying, my stuff
Yeah.
showing up somewhere, Ashton Stevens. But if those will know, it's Martin, so it's cool. It's no
Either
trip.
way, you're
It's
good.
yeah,
Okay.
either way you good. Yeah, for sure.
All right. Well, okay, you talked a little bit about, kind of the purpose behind your music. What do you do to kind of get into the creative process? Do you just kind of let the ideas flow, or do you have like a certain, I don't know, maybe habit or not really a ritual, but something that you kind of do to get into the process to be able to create?
To be honest, the answer is all of the above. I really don't have, I'm probably like the most chaotic person when it comes to creating. It's crazy because and it's funny because I know people always have like their set thing they do when they record. Only thing that really stays consistent with me is the place most of the time where I record most of my music as of late has been done in this room where I'm at right now. Um and I'm usually sitting down. But if I feel the need to stand up, I'll stand the mic up and I'll stand up if I feel like it just needs more energy. But most of the time, most of my recordings have been sitting down. And I think that's another reason why people say like your voice kind of over the last couple projects kind of sound different. And it's like, yeah, I got into like the sitting recording now. I feel more comfortable and I feel like I can fluctuate and change my voice now a lot more versus it just being one tone. And I think that used to be because one thing I worked on early on, I was very monotone in rap.
Mm,
So I think I kind of overcorrected it a little bit. And so I went extra. And I was like, you know what? I actually kind of just want to go more back to that and then kind of be able to just change it when I feel, you know what I'm saying? Because
mm,
that's my actual natural voice. I'm not naturally like super duper loud like that. So that's probably the only thing consistent. Anything else can change. I think now I record more in the mornings because I'm more fresh in the mornings now. But I think honestly that's just because being a parent now. Like
yeah.
that's like the most free time that I have, honestly. So and I may write and I may not write. Like there's been most of the time, most stuff I'll do, I'm a write it because I am a writer at heart. But there's been some songs that I've you'll probably hear and think that I wrote it. I didn't write any of it. Like it literally just came off my head. Some of them take days, literally,
Mhm.
to do. Some of it is literally like I can hear it. I get the thought, the process, create the song, and literally record the song in the same day.
Wow.
It's really I always say I don't like to force it. So if I feel like I'm beginning to force it, I'll stop until it comes natural because I feel like that translates into music,
Yeah.
and I now I record at home, so it's different. Back in the days when I used to have to go to the studio, I ain't really have too much of a choice in it. Like I gotta get it done now. So however it comes out, that's how it's coming. That's what we keep it on record. But I kind
Yeah.
of have like the ability to be a lot more natural now. So that's kind of how I keep my creative process.
Okay. Yeah. So I really dig that variety. I just saw a post recently where somebody was talking about like how sometimes creating stuff, it just flows. It could be anywhere from 5 minutes to 5 years to finish something.
Yeah, for sure. For sure.
Yeah. So, okay, well, like doing it at home, that's got to give you a certain type of relaxed feeling too. I know that's typically where I record. I rarely go into a studio. It's usually if it's for someone else's project. But yeah, it's just
Yeah.
something about being in your own environment.
Yeah, for
That
sure.
just, yeah.
I feel like it's just more natural because it's like literally like you're right there. You're able to come back to something, or if you like do it and then you're like, I want to change this up. It's
Yeah.
easy. It's just cutting your stuff on, changing it up. I will say the downside is you can get too comfortable. So it's
Mm,
like sometimes I notice I'm like, okay, I could have really finished this out, or I was like very lazy on this record as far as like piecing it together. Like
mm,
I know I could like literally rap this whole verse, and I just chose to like piece it together because I was lazy at the moment. So it's like it is a balance too of like still making sure that you're sharp on your craft, like not necessarily like slacking off, but taking breaks when needed to be taken, but like still staying on it though, still
yeah.
making sure you're sharp, your pen is sharp, your tone, you all of these things, because it's different when you're in front of people. You always present yourself as the best version
Mm,
of yourself. So it's like I'm grateful for that time period of recording in the studio because it showed me how to record, the proper ways to record. It showed me to give your best effort. You know what I'm saying?
yeah.
But at the same time, home you're more relaxed. So I kind of was forced into it when I moved to Atlanta. I had my own equipment, and then once I got off my first tour, literally came back from the first tour, we was homeless. And
Mm.
so we was kind of transitioning around Airbnb, and I ended up having my equipment stolen out my trunk.
Oh,
So
man.
from those couple of years, I was like, I ain't had no choice but to go and record at somebody's studios. But it made me so much of a better artist because I came ready. Like I had to make sure everything was ready when I came to the studio. So it definitely did shape me into a better artist from that process.
Yeah, I bet that makes it even easier to collaborate with you.
Yeah,
So,
yeah, for sure.
just because you have that kind of experience. And speaking of which, how do you choose how to collaborate? Does it just kind of happen organically, or are there people that, maybe you're connected to, and the more you hear of each other, you just kind of gravitate towards each other? How do you go
Yeah.
about selecting that?
For me, if it's my song, if it's my project that I'm working on, I say it like that. Um, I kind of go by who I hear, or like it's relationship as well. Obviously, you want to have a relationship with the person that you have. Want to make sure the chemistry is there. But I don't know. It's like I kind of hear the person. Sometimes it'll be a song that I start on, and me like I'm the type of person when I'm done, I'm done. Whether it's a minute or 5 minutes, like when I'm done writing to, if I feel like my part on this track is done, I stop. And so it's,
Mm,
it's been some songs where it's like, okay, I only got like 45 seconds on this. Obviously, I need to have something to finish this track with. And we live in the days too where, that's a song now. So yeah,
yeah.
that's a song now.
Real talk. Yeah.
So it's like, yeah, I understand that too. But if I feel like it needs to be longer, that's where some of my features come into play. I reach out to certain people if I feel like the vibe fits what they already, or it's like I like a balance too, because I like to push people. I
Mm,
don't like to have people completely comfortable. So I like to keep something that's natural in their space, but at the same time, if I know it's something that they don't usually do, I'm
mm,
gonna encourage them to really do it. You know what I'm saying? Because I'm like, I,
yeah.
I really I like getting the best out of people too, and I think that's kind of like the producer in me as well. People
Mm,
always told me that I'm really good at like choosing people to be on songs. Like even if it's not my song, I can usually hear it, and like I had like here I have all these independent artists. I'll be like, bro, y'all two should work together because that would be gas. I can literally hear it. Like I can hear y'all two coming together, and they would not normally work together, but or just certain producers with certain artists. I don't know. I just love the pairing. As of late, me and PA on the track has been working very, very closely together.
okay.
And so I feel like where we connected at was just that work ethic itself. We both have a similar drive when it comes to pushing out songs. And I think naturally that's just kind of how it started. Like he really just started with me for features. So I'll kind of like get on some of his stuff, and he noticed, dang, you always are like the fastest to get it back to me, you know. And I'm like, honestly, bro, it's probably just because I got my equipment right here. But he was like, nah, it's deeper than that. He was like, just your drive, you have the drive to complete it. And I tell him, like, when it's somebody else's project, bro, I treat it like it's somebody else's property. I wouldn't want to like borrow somebody else's stuff and not give it back. Like, you want to give it back as quick as possible, and as quality as possible. So that's kind of how I always treat my features. And from there, he had a different, his style is totally different from mine. And at first I was like, for my projects, I couldn't really see us working together. I'm like, I don't really see it as far as my project. I don't see where it fits. But then we kind of start having more conversations, getting to know each other as people, and we kind of found that meeting point, and we're like, oh, okay, this is the sweet spot right here. We got it now. Like, we got something now. So I mean, since last year, he's probably been the one that I've been working more consistently on, and even for like my next coming projects, yeah, we've been, me and him been grinding. We probably got over like, I don't know how many songs. We got a lot of songs, right? And yeah, I'm excited for what we got coming up for sure.
Well, that's what's up. I think, especially what you mentioned about getting to know each other and having the conversations. I feel like there's not really a whole lot of that going on anymore.
Yeah.
Like, most people are just kind of chasing sounds and not really the chemistry and the energy before the collaborations. I think that's really important. I'm really glad that you mentioned that. You know, the whole purpose of this podcast is actually, you know, to help artists. Because, I mean, we all have like these different experiences, different things that we can pull from, and we can learn from each other like that. So I'm really glad that you brought that up. Do you have any, I guess, maybe advice or suggestions for somebody that might be kind of struggling to branch out, to actually seek out that type of energy instead of just chasing sounds?
Yeah, for sure. My advice is don't be so transactional. And this is coming from a person who knows business as well. I'm a very, very is just as much as I am like this personal guy, I'm also a shark when it comes to business. So I'm telling you this as both of these guys. Don't be so transactional. And I know for me in the beginning of learning how to network, that was my issue. I looked at everything as like a transaction. And then I grew to learn like it's really more about relationships, because that's what lasts. You know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, you might meet these people and yeah, y'all might exchange information, but over the years you will look and see like, okay, the people that I actually build relationships for are the people that we both benefit from each other, and we both actually last longer, you know what I'm saying, with each other. It's a lot of people that I've met within these last 5 years. We may follow each other, but it's like I have no contact with them. Like, you know what I'm saying? I have literally no contact, and I'm hitting a point in my life I really don't have any desire for that any longer. Like, I really want to build with people. And it don't even mean that we're gonna ever work together. It's just having a relationship with a person. Like, I give you PA for example. I've known PA since 2019. I didn't work with him on any of my stuff until maybe 2021, 2022. Maybe even 2023, to be honest with you. We was like just building a relationship for that long, until I felt the time was right, or until we both kind of found where we meet at artistry, like, you know what I'm saying? So don't look at things just so transactional, and you never know. Like, just if you find somebody that you vibe with, that you feel the energy on that person, continue to build that relationship, even if you don't think that it'll benefit you in any way, shape, or form career wise. It's just, it's about, it's people. We are human beings first, like, and that even comes to marketing yourself. I feel like a lot of people, they chase the marketing of just wanting to build a following instead of building a community or humans that relate to you. You know what I'm saying? Because you look at the biggest artists, that's what they have. You looking when these big artists perform, like, I ain't talking about like the people that blow up every day. I'm talking about like the ones, the titans of the rap game right now. If you go to their shows and you look at these people's face, it's something that truly connects. It hits different with them. You know what I'm saying? It's something that whole, like, you know, it's a connection. So yeah, that's kind of how I think about it.
Wow, that's excellent advice. And I get what you mean. Excuse me, about the whole thing being transactional, like that, especially on Instagram, a lot of other social media sites and whatever. But I feel like there is the place that people will randomly send me music. I mean, not even so much as a hi, hello, I like what you do. I think you might like this. It's just like boom. And half the time, like I don't even click it. Like you haven't even introduced yourself. You know, I
Facts.
just followed you back. You immediately bombard me. Like,
Facts.
yes, the relationship building is kind of a lost art. But yeah, I hope that people kind of find their way back to that again. I really do.
Yeah, I know my wife taught me that. Dakiri, she's like the relationship queen. How I look at her,
Mm,
she really knows how to nurture and build relationships, and I learned that from her. To be honest with you, when it comes to networking.
that's what's
Um,
up. She's awesome, by the way.
thank you. I agree. Coming from because I think also like I had to learn a lot because where I'm from, and I was literally just having this conversation with somebody from Atlanta. They were like just in Florida, and it was kind of like talking about the people in Florida. He was doing like some salesman type stuff. I think it was just he was standing out in front. Just it was not necessarily salesman, but he was making people aware of their company, etc., and their cause. And he was like, "Man, Florida's cool, but like you get some very standoffish people." I'm like, "Yeah, that's kind of like that's the culture where I'm from." I'm like, that's why I understand people from like New York. We like connect instantly because you may not see it, but we're very similar when it comes to like let me feel you out first. A person to
Mm,
like perform. And I always tell people I'm like, bro, performing anywhere else feels very cake to me because where I'm from, bro, people would literally like folded arms, mug on their face, look at you, not vibe, nothing, just look at you, and then come up to you afterwards. You like, bro, I might have to fight this dude or something, and then be like, fam, that was hard, bro. That was hard, and it's just like, I don't know. This is our culture. Like we just got like a very in the beginning, it's very standoffish, but when we do open up and we rock with you, we rock with you heavy. Like I don't know why it's like that. That's just where it's, and I had to like really shape that coming into Atlanta because everybody is so like open, like, oh, this is what
mm.
I do, da, 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 da. And I'm like almost in the sense of like, back up, bro. Like I got you, back up though. Like,
Right.
so I had to really like learn how to like network. And it was like a culture shock for me in the beginning. And I'm like, okay, I get it. I'm learning networking. And then when I started, it became too transactional. And it's just like, you share this, I share this, or we connect on this, you connect on this. And I'm like, okay, so maybe this is what networking is. And then I begin to see her networking. She's like building real relationships. I'm like, how you do that? Like, and she was like, you got to nurture the relationship. You can't just follow each other and expect that it's gonna just. I'm like, oh, okay. So this is how you know. And then it got from that to like just really at the space I'm at. I'm like just really wanting just relationship. I don't really care too much for anything else. Like I
Mm,
really look for genuine people in any space because I look at the people that like really lasted and really helped me in my career was just genuine people. That's
mm.
really what it was. Like
Yeah, that's so important. And so, speaking of your career, I can't believe how quickly this time has flown by. So
it's
I'm
crazy
again, leave the door open for you to come back. Maybe we got to do a part two sometime soon.
for sure.
But I can't let you get out of here without letting people know what's in the pipeline for you. And of course, like the new stuff you got coming out, new stuff that you've recently had out, where they can follow you, find you, all that good stuff.
For sure. So you can follow me on all platforms now. It's Ashton Stevens, ITSASHTON STEVENS. That's all my socials at this point. And music wise, any streaming services, Ashton Stevens. Um, as far as what I got coming out, I have a continuation of my last EP. So the last EP I released in November, it was entitled Jubilee Volume 1, and we have Volume 2 coming out this March. So definitely stay tuned from that. It's gonna be a continuation and an elevation from that project for sure, for sure. And I'm gonna just say stay tuned for that and stay tuned for a lot more to come behind that project as well. We definitely been working on this rollout for some months now, and I'm excited to roll it out. We're going, yeah, we got something planned for that for sure, for sure. So definitely stay tuned. Um, AME itself, definitely stay tuned for new merch. I'm gonna get that back rolling. I know a lot of people been on my noggin about that, and I've been trying to say like, please be patient. We had a whole rebranding, like the logo is even different now. Everything is
Oh
different with
wow.
this now. So it's like it actually is now an enterprise because we merged our other sources of income and careers into AME now. So now it's more
Mm,
of an enterprise. And so as well as being a music artist, I'm now also into risk management. And I know people like, what the freak? How does those two go together? But it's like, bro, think about it like this: if you're an artist, you're on tour, you don't have insurance for your stuff, you are
yeah.
tripping off the rip. You're tripping. Equipment, all of my promoters that are booking artists, you wonder why you book this artist and they end up flaking and you don't get the deposit back, you know, etc. etc.
Yes.
Like this is why I come into play with risk management in those areas. And so we've been stepping into those fields with other sides of risk management as well. It's definitely a lot that we're gonna come out with more and speaking a little bit more. We just want to educate. That's like the biggest thing. That's what the E stands for, AMB anyway. So just definitely want to educate our people, artists, independent artists, and business owners, you know what I'm saying? Like, because at the end of the day, if you're an independent artist, you are a business owner, you know, and I think it needs to be more education on that for sure, for sure. So
Absolutely.
yeah, that's what we got coming through the pipeline. For now, definitely Stream, Jubilee, Volume 1. I've got a lot of feedback from that one. Probably since 2021, I haven't got anything like the feedback that I got from this project since like 2021. So
Mm.
I'm excited for that, and looking forward to expound on it for sure.
Well, that's awesome. So yeah, I definitely want to thank you for taking the time to come on here and share what's been going on with you and what you've got going on. I still maintain we got to have a part two, but specifically about the risk management.
Oh yeah, for sure.
This is
I
a
would love
risky
that.
business for sure.
It
So,
is. It is.
yeah, once you're ready to come back and talk some more about that, that's a whole episode in itself.
Oh
So,
yeah. Oh
yeah,
yeah. I think that'd be dope. I think it'd be dope to even have wifey along on that one as well.
yes,
So,
most
you know, we
definitely.
can we can definitely talk on that side of AME as well. So I would love that.
That'll be perfect. So, yeah, we got to do that sooner rather than later.
For sure.
But yeah, thank you for taking the time out today. And yeah, already looking forward to next time.
Yeah, same here. Thank you for having me. It's a blessing every time, and I'm just grateful for you as well, being such the genuine person that you are. It's funny you
Oh,
say
thank
you
you.
love my wife. My wife loves you as well too. So
Oh, yay.
yeah.
All right, thank you. All right, and that's a wrap for this episode of Instrumental Intel. I've been your host, music producer, Chick with Beats. And once again, I'd like to thank you for joining me. I'd like to thank my special guest, Ashton Stevens, for coming through and sharing his wisdom. And of course, I'd like to thank my home station, Grander Radio, out of Grand Rapids, Michigan. Make sure you come back next week. I got more goodies lined up for you. So till next time, you know where to find me. Tune in, tell a friend. I'll see you then. Peace.